of the Economic Development Authority to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Well done. Okay, Brandy, will you conduct a roll call, please? Oh, Chris, I'm sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
Perfect.
Chair Dew,
Here.
Vice Chair Fuller,
Here.
Member Furlong,
Here.
Member Shifsky,
Here.
Member Vickerman,
Here.
Council Representative Cole,
Here.
Business Association Representative Gary,
Here.
Mayor Mongi,
Here.
and for staff, we have Community Development Director Howe present, and EDA Secretary Cherney present. Absent are Executive Director Frandl and Consultant Waldron.
Okay, thank you. You all received the agenda. I'll look for any modifications, otherwise a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is adopted. Attached to your packet is the minutes from the December 13th, 2022 EDA meeting. We'll take any comments, corrections to the minutes, otherwise entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any other comments, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Minutes are approved. Meeting open to the public. Do we have anybody that would like to speak from the public? Oh, that goes to the secretary. Okay. Nobody online? We have two guests in the audience. Anybody that wishes to speak or?
Henry Marvin with Open Window Productions. I don't know if you've spoken with Henry Schneider, but we have had discussions about a brand video for North St. Paul, and so we just wanted to stop by and show our interest in.
Oh, you're actually on the agenda. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can have a seat and we'll call you up when it's time. I'm sorry. Okay, having no one from the public wishing to speak, we'll get into authority, business, and action items. The one action item we have today, as required by the bylaws, annually, we need to elect a chairman, a vice chair, and a treasurer. And so we have, based on the folks that will be continuing on the EDA, we're left with limited choice as to who will be what. But we can start with the nomination for the chair for 2023. We'll entertain nomination for the chair position.
I will nominate Robert Dew for the chair.
Second.
We have a
Not
nomination.
giving you a chance to think.
Anybody, I don't know, I'm not sure how this is actually supposed to work, so.
favor?
Okay, done. Pretty well. It worked really well. I like mine.
Anyone else want to be the chair? Hearing none? Okay, well, I guess we'll vote all those in favor of myself being the chair for 2023. Do I? I accept the nomination, yes.
You didn't have a choice.
I was forced into it in the back room. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. So unanimous vote for Robert Dew to continue as the chair in 2023. The vice chair position, we have Kevin Fuller has, for the last couple of years, honorably served as the vice chair. Due to a number of business ventures and travel restraints that he has. At some point, he'll be departing the EDA, and he does have concern, I don't want to speak for him, but ability to get to all the meetings. So he had asked that we seek another person to fill the vice chair position. And I would like to nominate Terry Furlong to be our vice chair. Terry Furlong accepts.
I'll second.
We have a second.
Citizen Furlong? Resident Furlong? You have no title anymore.
I said Terry. Does anybody else want the job?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we have a nomination and an acceptance and a second. Seconded by Kevin Fuller. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Unanimous vote to elect Terry Furlong as the vice chair. Okay, we also have to elect a treasurer, and I've had a number of conversations about this as I think most of the folks that have been involved with the EDA for any period of time know that it has been kind of hit or miss getting timely and accurate financial information. Our bylaws do allow, I just want to read a quick piece here on the election of officers out of the bylaws, that the offices of treasurer, secretary, and assistant treasurer need not be held by a commissioner. So the treasurer of the EDA does not have to be a commissioner within the EDA. The assistant treasurer, by bylaw, is the finance director of the city. So that's Dan Winnick, and we don't have to vote for him. That's just prescribed by our bylaws. We don't have to, the secretary position is appointed. Chris Journey is our appointed EDA secretary. That goes with those responsibilities, which we'll test him on later today. So for the treasurer, I had some conversations, and I would like to nominate Brandy Howe, who is our community development director, and to be our treasurer. We've discussed. I've discussed this with Brandy. I've also discussed it with the city manager in terms of any potential, is there a potential conflict having her serve as the treasurer? We don't believe that there is, primarily because of the assistant treasurer's responsibility for kind of financial oversight and check issuance and things of that nature. And any actions that the treasurer takes would have to be directed by the board. And so we don't feel that there is a conflict that would prevent that. And I think that the good thing about having Brandy do it, as opposed, in the past, we've had board members do it. Board members aren't here all the time. Most times they come just for the meetings or special meetings, don't have immediate access to get financial reports and do any level of scrutiny in terms of finding out what's what. We get the packet a couple days before. We don't know what this dollar amount is on this line and that kind of business. We've had a lot of that over the last several years. So I think it makes the most sense to have somebody that's here at the city daily and can do that. I don't think it's will be overly onerous. It's mostly having somebody that can report to the board. Here's the current financial state. Here's the expenditures. And I think, as hopefully everybody has seen and probably experienced over the last couple of years, is we'll have something that shows up in the expenditures. It's like, what is that? I think we went a long time. There was a piece of property we owned. We didn't even know what piece of property that was. And so having somebody that can have that information and report to us at least on a basic level each month where our finances are and what's going on, and, you know, any transactions of significance will be helpful. So I'll open it to discussion, but it would be my intent to nominate Brandy Howe as our treasurer. So
You asked her if she wants to do it.
I did.
Okay, that's okay.
I did.
She showed up. That's a good sign.
Thankfully, she answered her phone yesterday because I didn't want to put her on the spot.
She can hear us talking.
So I don't know if there's any other thoughts or comments on that.
I think it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Brandy, do you accept the nomination?
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so we have a nomination, a second, and an acceptance. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Unanimous. Brandy Howe is now the treasurer. Congratulations.
All your dreams are coming true.
It's not that much work. We didn't clap for Terry.
Eh. He's had enough adoration as of late. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 8, which is old business. Under the first item is our community marketing video. And sir, I'll invite you back up to speak and give us an update. And maybe before you do, did we, I know one of the issues we left was a financial participation from other agencies within the city. Current mayor, I'm not sure if you have any information on that, or if you don't, maybe former mayor or council member. Has there been any discussion at the council level, or?
We have brought it up to the city manager to bring it to council, to bring it to the HRA, and that has yet to be done.
Has not been brought forward.
Okay.
But it's on, he's aware, and it's, should be part of the agenda. We should make note of that, Brandy, that.
So, and I want to revisit, just backtrack a little bit. So it's my understanding we did, the EDA did authorize the work effort to move forward. And then we took a general position that we were willing to fund up to 50% of it, but we've asked other agencies within the city that will benefit from this video, and we think the video should be a comprehensive video of North St. Paul, not just EDA specific. And so that is the work direction that the group is proceeding under. And ultimately, not to make you nervous, we are on the hook for 100% of it. We're just trying to get others to participate in the bill. So,
Understandable, and
Okay,
those
so-
conversations, I'm sure, are something that Henry Schneider, I'm Henry Marvin again, I'll introduce myself. So Open Window Productions, between the three of us, we have over 25 years of video experience. Josh and I grew up right around here in North St. Paul. We met each other at North St. Paul High School, and so I just want to express how deep of a connection that we do have with this city, and how we would love to show it in its best light. We are opening a skate shop right down on 7th Street here, in a few months. And so we really feel like we're one of the best, we are the best production company to share North St. Paul's story and all the aspects. And yeah, so I'm not exactly sure if we want to continue the conversation like right here, or if we would like to just kind of like
well, I think
questions.
I don't know if we have any questions, maybe other just an update. We've started
Yeah,
started the process, I presume.
Yeah, we have a few ideas for how we can integrate all the different branches of the government into a more comprehensive video, because I know we had sort of discussed the idea of a whole marketing campaign with a few different videos, but then there's also ways where we can gather that footage, make one video, and then in the future potentially have different variations that are made later on.
And is there I know that a little bit from memory, but I believe we had discussed understanding that we would probably want to get spring, summer, maybe even fall footage. So do we have a target date for the process, and are you getting whatever input you need from the city?
Yeah, so I think once we get a little more confirmation that this is the way that we want to move forward with our partnership, we'll then decide on like a schedule for that, because if we also want to get fall footage, we're gonna have to wait until fall to get that footage. But this is the perfect time now to capture some winter footage with the snow. And and it's a freshly fallen snow too, so it looks a lot better than.
And lots of it.
Yeah, not so dirty quite yet.
Right.
And then, yeah, if we're already moving in winter, then we'll be getting those beautiful spring buds. And so, like, it sounds like it might be sort of a longer process if we want, but there's ways where we can capture interviews, and the B-roll is, we call it the contextual footage, and build a video that could be done potentially by like summer, midsummer, and then add to it later on once there's fall as well. So.
Okay, good. I think that it would be helpful probably for you and for folks within the city, if you have some sort of schedule in terms of what you're trying to achieve, and particularly as it relates to participation from city staff or community members for interviews or that kind of stuff. If you could maybe lay that out with some, suspense dates on that. Hey, we want to get an interview with, whatever, the mayor by March or something, or we'd like to interview 5 businesses by, this date, or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. If you could bring back that back to the EDA, then I think the intent was that we would gather I'm probably going to use inappropriate or the wrong language, not inappropriate language, but a subcommittee of sorts made up of multiple folks within the city to help drive and determine, what makes sense and what we like and the key things we're trying to show. Yes.
I would have a point person within the city, and I think working with Carrie, our marketing person, would be, work out well, because Carrie would know all the departments and all that.
Can we just ask staff to make that connection then? Is Carrie going to be okay with that, or is that? I don't know who controls Carrie's time, so.
Brian.
Brian.
So Brian,
Okay.
start with Brian, and he'll assign it, I'm sure, to her.
Okay. So, yeah, Brandy, if we can do that, get Brian to connect the crew with Carrie and figure out next steps. And then we'll be here as well, of course, along the way. It would be great to get we don't need a monthly update by any means, but as progress goes, if, a couple, 3 months, if we can get an update as to kind of where you're at, or certainly if you have any hurdles, please contact either Brandy or Brian Frandl. Brian's the city manager, so.
I feel like connecting with me will be great as well, but with Henry Schneider is going to be the one who's going to be able to get the contract in place, and so we can start gathering some stuff now, but to really have it nailed down for what we want to capture.
Scope of work, you're
Scope
looking
of
for?
work, exactly. That's going to be like our first step to get to getting onto the path. So.
Okay. Yep, and if we can get that done and get it brought forward, then we can get, formalized approval on that and go from there. So, good. We're looking forward to it.
Me too.
Thank you. Right, for sure.
We need the snowman in the snow. Looking fresh.
Has anything been signed officially with
I-
the group yet?
I thought we had, but it doesn't,
The way it
what
sounds
I'm
like
hearing
we
is
have,
we have
yeah.
not.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we probably gotta, that's the step. we're
Yeah,
gonna
we
have
definitely want to
Get the meter started.
advance that so you guys can get your winter shots and start doing that work before the snow melts, because we don't want to run it into 2024 for sure. So, okay, good. The next item B, was an update, River of God Church, and I think just a quick recap on that issue was the potential of having a discussion with them, reviewing the redevelopment master plan, and see if there is an opportunity to potentially relocate those folks or what have you for future development purposes. As Furlong, nothing to report on that? Okay. Do we need to schedule something, or what's your thought?
Well, now that we have, Brian in place, we got the master plan put in place, I think we have
The
those
parts and pieces?
parts and pieces now that we can, and the mayor can come with and
Okay.
have that discussion with them.
Shall we ask staff to see if they can coordinate a sit-down with the appropriate parties? And I don't know them off the top of my head, but I believe October, November meeting minutes had the information regarding both local contact and I'll say a regional contact, but they also happen to be in Minneapolis, I believe. Is that correct? Or in the area? Well, I think it'd be ideal if we had, one or two EDA members, and the mayor could be one of those, city manager. We'd like to just sit with them and, kind of review the redevelopment master plan, show them what the, midterm and long-term vision is for that part of town. And, we want to be open about what, how we perceive that property down the line, and but not exclude them from our community. So work with them to try to, find a solution that'll work for both. Get the highest and best use on that parcel, as well as, making sure that they have a home within the community. Is that basically it? Okay, perfect. Anything else on that item? Hearing none. The site formerly known as the Ground Round site, I think the last update we got from the city manager was that there was some level of cleanup underway. I think that was mostly being handled by the city manager, but do we know any other information on that? Okay, I don't either, and I suspect there's probably not a lot going on during the winter, so we'll keep that on there, but move to the next item. Next item was the McKnight Boulevard left turn lane. Brandy, I think you have some information on that topic.
Yeah, I spoke to the real estate representative for Target, and they expressed they were not interested in moving forward. So I then spoke to Ramsey County to try to get a sense of how we might be able to partner with them. And they indicated that they're going to go out for bid for the mill and overlay of McKnight around the fall of this year, and then the project would start spring of 2024. And if we wanted to add on a bit of the project to, right now I think it extends from 11th Avenue to some point north. So they're willing to bring it south to this area. So if we wanted to have WSB or some other group do a preliminary design, we could put it in the bid package for Ramsey County. So we would be on the hook for paying for it, though.
For the design and construction, or design only?
I believe it's for design and construction.
Just the turn lane portion or overlay, or is that discussion to be had?
I think that might be a discussion to be had. I think we'll have to have some conversations with Morgan, too, because he is a little bit more knowledgeable about how this will work.
Okay, I guess my thought on this is, this might be perceived to be a little bit out of the lane of the EDA, but I would suggest that it's not, because when we look at parcels in and around the city that are, kind of ripe for development or redevelopment, there are several parcels along that stretch here of McKnight that certainly fit that bill. And aside from Target, just to be clear, Target's was not necessarily opposed to the left-hand turn lane. They didn't want to cost share.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I still think that would be a very good step for improving those properties and making them more attractive for outside development. I don't know that the EDA has the ability or the desire to fund that effort, But I think that that would be something that we would be probably pushing to council and ask that dollars be allocated in the capital improvement plan, for that effort. And I believe, so we can see what all of that looks like, but I think what I'm hearing to take the next step would be if we could have asked WSB to maybe outline what those next steps would be and what, a rough proposal or a proposal from them as to their work effort to take us to the next step in conversation so we can,
Yeah, Morgan's working on that already,
he is already working, okay.
a proposal.
So
So,
if we were to make a left turn lane into there, would it be then attached to the Target parking lot? And if so, would there be some cost sharing based on that? Not necessarily on the turn lane, but bringing it into their,
yeah, I think what I believe will inevitably happen is, can we get the turn lane with all of the dimensional requirements that county road people have and everything else? Do we get the turn lane to align perfectly with where the existing Target drive lane is?
got it,
Maybe, maybe not.
okay.
If we can, I guess, great. I do think there's, Target is stating they didn't feel they needed that turn lane is one thing, but as this unfolds and, if there are beautification or modification requirements that they benefit from, maybe we can, at least we have the contact and we can revisit it with them.
That parking lot's about twice as big as it needs to be for Target too. I'm wondering if we were to put that lane in there, if maybe they would be interested then in some redevelopment of, you're seeing that more and more now where the people are putting in smaller retail centers around
The outlets,
these large
right.
commercial retail centers. I see that if we were to invest in that turn lane, that whole area could get possibly developed, and then Target might be interested at that point, leasing out or selling portion of their parking lot and developing that, because right now, that parking lot's gonna have to be rebuilt eventually, coming up here pretty soon, especially on this part that never gets used.
Right, for sure. And I think that's part of what we're trying to accomplish as the EDA is the economic purpose of helping to create an environment where
Things
that
explode,
will
yeah.
spur,
Yeah.
the owners of those parcels right now to do something with them, because they have better access and what have you. So that's where I think it does fit in our lane. So,
I had that initial conversation with Target representative as well, to see if there was any interest in developing their fairly large parking lot. At this point in time, she didn't think that that was anything on the immediate horizon. But I think what you're saying is accurate. You put the turn lane in there, it's gonna make it more developable.
It's gonna increase the value of that.
right, yeah, for sure. I mean, they own some of the outlot, but there's a number of parcels over there that are owned by others. And if we see increased activity, new construction as a result of better access, and what have you, then that may prompt them to sell off or develop them themselves or whatever whatever their process is. So we're just trying to get some movement on the raw dirt that's been sitting over there for quite a while. So.
When I look at that space over there, I see what you did up on by Quick Trip, that apartment development there. If you were to put another one of those over there and it had a left turn lane in there and a couple of shops, potentially then Target could benefit from that. Even if we had to use some of their property to do that, then they would have another 300 possible customers that would be almost walking distance to their store.
Yep. I did mention these things to them, and it's also zoned for flexibility. You could put apartments there. So they're aware of that, but I think that, having the conversation continue and
Yeah.
showing that the city is willing to move forward with this is gonna probably,
The first step.
yeah.
Right, and not to get too far away from the kind of core issue, but one of the things, Brandy and I met with Crossroads Real Estate a couple weeks ago to just kind of discuss the redevelopment master plan, the things that we're looking at. And we do plan to have another sit-down to further talk about how can we take a look at some of these undeveloped or underdeveloped areas within the city and make them either more marketable or get them to market. And again, I think if we can create a better environment over there that might entice, whether it's a housing developer, retail developer, whoever it is, and then let the private parties,
Work it out.
yeah, if private parties go to Target and say, I'm gonna give you whatever, X amount of dollars for a chunk of your parking lot. Now they're not talking about, they're talking about income, not outgoing dollars, and they'll probably listen a little better.
And they don't have to foot the bill for that turn lane.
Right, right. So I don't suspect, if we can, we'll see what it shakes out, but I think the intent is, if we're simply paying for removal of the median, creation of a turn lane, and not all the overlay business that I think is scheduled to work at some point anyways, I think we could be in a pretty good spot. If that road's gonna be getting touched by machinery, this is the time to seize the opportunity to get that turn lane in. And the other thing we don't wanna forget is, although I don't think it's fully papered, the powers to be within the county, since that's a county road, have said, yes, we are open to that and will allow it. The details need to be worked out, but getting a yes out of the county on
That's
something.
huge already.
That's big, right? I mean, if you remember over on the Quick Trip site, that was about a year and a half, I think it took us to get concession from the county to get that turn lane in, so. Right.
Is it just a turn lane, no lights, nothing, is that what we're?
That's what we've asked for, and that's what we think it can be. Because, there's issues, Brandy may know this better than I, but, between signal locations and all this other
It's a little
business.
too close.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I would think, that's why I was kinda curious,
Right.
see if they just allow a turn lane. without
Our hope
any
would be that, I don't think it requires a signal, but I don't know enough about that.
And traffic coming out of it would not be able to turn left.
It'd be right,
Be left in and right out.
that's correct, yep. Right, but that really, that just eliminates everybody having to go up to, I think that's 11th or whatever, going up to the signal on 11th, then turn into Target. It's a lot better access to Target and a lot better access to those
Yeah, and back out
lot.
of Target.
There's a lot of people doing U-turns there and going back and going in to where you're talking about. There's a lot of U-turns there right now.
So it's a safety issue.
There you go.
Perfect.
From a revenue source, recognizing that the parcels, either developed or undeveloped, that sit along that area, is there an opportunity for an assessment to be shared with the owners of the properties? Because they definitely will benefit from the turn lane. Not necessarily pick up the cost, but to share in the expenses?
I would think so, but that, we as the EDA don't have the ability to assess that. If we did, there'd be some assessments going out.
That could
But
be,
we don't.
that could be a council action.
Right, and so I think from, effective use of kind of council liaison, to the EDA, it would be good in whether it's, workshop or in a council meeting, wherever something like this would be, kind of put out as a primer. Hey, this is what the EDA is talking about this, we think it makes sense. Get a council reaction, so that when it hits the table in whatever month that is, March, June, July, and then as we're preparing budget for '24, there's not any surprise at the council level that this is something that the EDA is pushing. Again, I don't think it's right for us to fund it or have to fund it. I think the funding should come, through council for the participation, and then how, if the council's able to recoup that through assessment or some other means, that'd be great. I don't know, there's probably no grant stuff or anything like this, I wouldn't think, but.
I haven't seen any. I've been looking around at the grant opportunities to see what might be, if there's projects that we might go for, and this one didn't poke out.
You didn't find a turn lane grant?
Only the right turn lane.
If you do find one,
I'll be sure to
bounce on it.
explore it.
It's a right turn one, but not left.
Robert, would it be beneficial for us to even reach out to the credit union and possibly, what's his name, Scott Mueller.
Mueller, the owner of the property?
Because I think that will benefit that whole area there. And if they see some sort of benefit, maybe they would also.
Why don't we find out what the cost will be first? See if it's even feasible.
Yeah, that, or if we get a concept drawing of what this might look like,
Then you got more to present to them.
yeah, have a conversation of,
Say, can you guys pick up 20%?
And I think Target was kind of looking for that when I had discussion with them. You know, what does it look like? I don't know what it looks like. We don't have that information yet. So maybe, like you're saying, if we do have a plan and
Yeah, maybe even a small
Cost-wise,
sketch of how you redevelop that whole area because
we
of
go
it.
back to Target and say,
Yeah.
it's a good deal for you.
right, and there's all, I think, Target, Randy, I know you were involved in that. I don't think Target kind of slammed the door. They just said, look, we don't want to cost share in this right now. That doesn't seem like something we want to put on our docket. But if we develop it a little bit further, and even if we can encourage them to, do some beautification on that entry-exit drive that they have, if we do put that turn lane in or whatever, I think that there's still opportunity to have those discussions with them down the line.
Saves their customers time getting in too, if it's that turn lane, 'cause then they're not going up to left, wait for the light, go around, take another left turn in front of traffic to go in that other far corner.
So we'll just ask staff to bring something back from WSB, ideally at February meeting. If I don't know what their schedule looks like, but if we could see something at February meeting and try to get the ball rolling, and then concurrent with that, if the concept and idea can be floated for council to see if we get a summary approval or rejection, I guess would be helpful too.
I took note to bring it up at council meeting next week, just as from an informative standpoint, not from a directional standpoint.
Perfect. Okay, anything else on that topic? Okay, moving on, Executive Director apparently went home, so I don't have any notes from him. Treasurer report, were these delivered to the
No,
board? Okay.
send it to you.
Could I ask that these financials be delivered to the EDA board?
Yep.
After the meeting. Sorry you don't have the benefit of seeing them. I just got them a few hours ago, but I wanted to at least be able to give a quick update on where we sit. Currently, the EDA cash balance is $419,056 and some change. We have the additional asset of the one land parcel that we have that's valued at roughly $49,248. Our expenditure budget for the year was $263,377. We have to-date expenditures. This is all unaudited, by the way, but we have expenditures of $238,797, so slightly below our expected expenditures. I don't know that I want to drill down a whole lot further than that. There are some, and Brandy, we'll talk about this in terms of the revenue and expense report. There's always some mystery lines in here, i.e. transfer to other account or transfer to other fund, which we still don't know what that is, stuff like that. So it'd be helpful, and we'll meet, when we meet later in the week, we can talk about the things that have been a mystery to the EDA board. But in generally, that's we're in good financial shape. We spent a little less than we budgeted for last year, which included the loan that we made to Max Steiner, which I think by everything that I have heard has really been a resounding success within the city. Constantly busy over there, at least every time I've been there. And so I think that was a good thing for us to do and has helped the city tremendously, so. Very good. Okay, so that's the treasurer report. Chair report. Along with the financials, if we could also just send out a copy of the bylaws to all the board members as well, just as a reminder, make sure they have them. There's a number of things, within the bylaws that we are required to do on a periodic or annual basis. One of those that we've done each year is to issue a report to the city, an annual report to the city. Our bylaws say at a time designated by the city. They've never designated one officially, so we just try to do it this time of year. My intent with that report is I will prepare, like we've done in years past, unless somebody else wants to take it on, I'll prepare a draft of the report. It'll follow a similar format to years past, essentially outlining to council, our work effort as an EDA, what we've done, how we've been good stewards of the dollars that we've received, and what the city's received in return, and then a little bit forward-looking in terms of what else is in our bag of tricks, I guess. So I'll send a draft out, and then the hope would be that any comments, modifications, additions, subtractions, what have you, if we can get most of that and have a final draft at our February meeting for approval, and then we can present that to council, and it's up to the council. We can either just, we'll submit it in writing either way. There have been a couple of occasions where council has asked that we come and do at least a brief presentation or summary of the report at a council meeting. We're happy to do that, or just enter it for the record, whatever works, so. I think that was the key item. The one other item I want to just address real quick. So there, I don't know what the origin of this was, but I had received information that somebody had asked a question by somebody, I have no idea who it was within the city or a resident or not sure, but regarding the makeup of the board and the kind of, in specifically the voting status of the mayor as a member of the board, as well as the council member as part of the board. And so we did take another look at it. So somebody had questioned whether you guys are voting members of the EDA or not. We took a look at it. I did talk with the city attorney. We looked at it, weighed it against statute, and by everything that's in front of us and the city attorney's opinion, my opinion, not that that matters, but is that they are voting members of the EDA. And so when we are looking for quorums or what have you, you guys get to vote. Brett Gary is here as a business association liaison. You, sir, we value your input greatly, but you don't get to vote. You can secretly vote over there, and you can do thumbs up, thumbs down, and okay, but it won't go on the record. So, and there was also Councilmember Cole. You wanted to.
Yeah, if we're on the same track, I think I just wanted to make bring some clarity to what was communicated in the council packet that went out for the January 3rd council meeting, where it listed out all of the committees and commissions within the city and the vacancies and the tenure in which, or the expiration date of when the members currently are out there. And I did have questions regarding the EDA. The EDA is a body of 7, inclusive of the mayor and a council representative. And I know Brandy found it in the bylaws to back up that statement. But when the packet went out, the packet showed 9 spots with 2 vacancies currently existing, plus what else was going on within. So it appeared that there was a greater need for members of the EDA than there truly is. So I just wanted to bring clarity around that there is currently right now, as we sit today, we're full. We understand that one is leaving us potentially the end of September. No, I'm sorry. End of February. And then Kevin, you were on and approved for the following year. What you decide to do going forward, You know, Terry has assumed the co-director position, or co-chair position, but
Vice chair.
vice chair,
Vice chair.
co-vice chair,
Vice
thank
chair.
you.
And the only reason I'm mad is because I look more like Robert than anybody else. With the
So,
hair.
I don't necessarily know if we need to discuss that today, but that's, so it appeared for council, when council reviewed, that we had a large gap in the EDA, and I just wanted to make clarity of that.
So
Citizen Furlong.
Don Jensen, you're referring? So Don Jensen's term expired, and we did not extend his term. Right, correct, right. So we did extend you, as you graciously agreed to stay on for 10 more months.
It keeps getting longer and longer.
It's officially extended until the end of February. And that was to ensure that we had quorum to conduct business, as well as a bit more time to find viable candidates for the EDA. I don't, even though I was around when the bylaws were created, I'm not sure how we wound up at 7. I think that we could expand the board of the EDA. I don't know. If we had a strong response for people that wanted to participate, I'd say there might be some value in that, but we're not presently seeing that, so I don't know that we would, I don't personally have any desire to change the bylaws to expand to a 9-person body. So I don't know if anybody else. Okay. And we do, when you do get the bylaws, just give them a quick look. One of the things that I think, and it's a good thing, in the attempt to make sure that the city is doing business appropriately and correct, by statute and in compliance with our bylaws, it's a good idea just to, take a quick read through them, because I'm sure there are certainly times where, even though we've made our best effort, we maybe haven't fully complied with the, exact language or process as stated, but I think I would say for the group, we've always tried to do things appropriately and correct, and we want to continue to do that. So never hurts to just give them a quick read, and in case somebody needs to put me in check if I say something wrong up here. So let's see what else. And then my last, just the last item I had again was regarding new board members. I have put out a couple direct calls to some folks in the community that I thought either they personally or they might have individuals within their business that it would be a good opportunity to have somebody join the EDA for obviously to contribute to what we're trying to do here with the city, but also, it might be an opportunity for personal growth for some folks to get involved and see what the process looks like and understand, what it is that cities do and the EDAs do. So I would, echo that to everybody up here. If you have opportunity or contacts or businesses that maybe people within your business that may have interest in serving, that would be great. I think that I will remind folks that unlike a number of positions within the city on the EDA, you do not have to be a resident of North St. Paul to be a member of the EDA. In fact, one could argue there are benefits to having folks that aren't part of the community that might have expertise in certain areas, whether it's real estate or business in general, or who knows, finance, could be anything. So I would certainly ask that everybody continue to use their resources and circle of influence to try to find new members for the EDA. So, and Tom, did I hear you say you found your?
I had talked to Joe Matthews from the Insurance Center, and he said he put an application in.
Yes.
I believe there are at least two applications in currently.
Okay, is that
The city had extended, again, through potential confusion within, the number of members and the responsibility of that of mayor and council liaison. I believe they showed 2, if not 3 openings on the city website, along with, the Park and Rec and the planning and the Arts Council. They listed all of them with potential opportunities to solicit interested people, and I believe there were a couple of names that have popped up.
So what is the process and how is that followed up on? I know that appointments to the EDA are done by the council, and the mayor, right? Or
Appointed by the mayor.
by the mayor, okay,
And approved by the council.
okay. And so how do we, is that happening behind the scenes and we're not aware of it, or,
It's just still gathering right now.
okay?
That's where we're at right now. A couple applicants, and then we have to have a group together to go over the applicants.
Okay. Sooner the better.
It's on their shoulders.
I've got a couple that are itching to get out of here, so. I won't,
As I mentioned at the council meeting, I leave Saturday and I come back the 28th, so I'll be gone until the end of the month, sorry.
Okay. All right, well, at any rate, if, there's an online process then to do, okay, so if anybody has somebody that might fit that bill or have some interest, if they want to just have a conversation about what, I did have one gentleman that feigned interest anyways, and we had probably a half-hour conversation about what's involved and, what they would be doing, and if somebody has some interest but wants to have a conversation about that, happy to do so. But if we can encourage folks out there, that would be great.
Well, he said I had to find my replacement.
Yes, sir. Perfect. You can't leave until, Archie, you can't leave either till you have a replacement.
You told that
Is
20.
it because of me you're leaving? Is that the deal? Is it because of me you're leaving? Is that the
No,
deal?
no, just getting old.
He's falling down when he came
Yeah.
Down, trying to get into the place.
Well, if somebody escorts you from your vehicle into the place, will that help you stay?
You'd have to get a Uber.
I have 2 additional items, but you might have them on your staff report. Are we going to hear anything about J.B. Vang's progress across the street? Okay, and is there any meaningful update on the Lilly project? Okay. We're going to talk about that in closed session. Okay, mayor's report.
Well, so far, it's a week today.
Sit back.
Yeah, come on, don't take my thunder. It's a week today, and every night I do a survey. I go to the window, I close the shade, and nobody's standing out there with pitchforks and torches, so I think I'm doing all right so far. So far, so good. But yes, I've been meeting quite a bit with Brian, going over things, getting used to. I'm meeting with, tomorrow night, the volleyball people about the community center, so there's some other things I'm getting, my feet wet on, some different things happening. So that's about it.
Getting any help from the old man?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
After he's done giggling, he tells me something.
Old, not X, old.
That's right, he's helping. It's not quite as bad as the Pope, where you have the second one living with you, but, I reach out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other EDA members have anything to report? Archie? Mr. Furlong.
I just want to extend an invitation. The American Legion, we're hosting a how would I put it now? One last one for the road. So I'm going to host a little gathering at the Legion on Friday from 4:30 to 7, and everyone's invited. The EDA here. I think I sent out invites to a lot of you, but. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was
Keep
my
it on the
biggest
schedule.
concern, so,
All right,
but it's an open invitation, just a thank you, and,
gifts required or
no.
speeches? Perfect. Councilmember Cole, anything to add?
I had two topics. One, I'm of the impression that we have two new restaurants going into North St. Paul in the near future. One is taking over the Brothers Bistro location, and I understand it's Ethiopian cuisine. And the other is there is a sign up in what would be, is it the Highway 36 Plaza, the Target parking lot? Where Moe's is and where the Hmong daycare is. I can't think of the name of the daycare, but it's right there on the corner by the dentist's office. There's signage up, but I haven't seen anything else going on. So I just wanted to know if staff or anybody up here was aware of either one of these. It's exciting. It's great. The other topic that I had, I noted that it wasn't under old business, and it may have been by design. The conversation of the vacant lot that exists between Sidewinders and the tattoo parlor. I know that WSB had put a proposal together for parking lot and green space. I'm also aware that there was a party interested in potentially doing something with that space. We've got time, but I didn't know if that came off by design or if that was just an overlook, or if the conversations have dropped back off, do we want to resurrect the green space?
Well, I'll take the hit for that. I think we have that close to teed up for the green space that we talked about. The party that has potential interest, I don't know exactly where they are right now in terms of their interest in that parcel, but Brandy, let's put it on the agenda for next month, and then Brandy and I are meeting later this week just to kind of catch up on some EDA history and some stuff to help her, although she's been here for a bit now, but just to help with general onboarding, I guess, to be in tune with what the EDA has been doing, trying to do, where our hurdles have been, et cetera. And maybe we can talk about that as well. Okay.
Thank you. My only thought behind is if we're moving forward green space, we got a little while between now and spring, but
Not a long while, though.
not a long while. So, thank you.
Okay, reports from staff. Brandy?
Mentioning new potential restaurants, I received a site plan review for a Dunkin' Donuts at the corner of 11th Avenue and McKnight, so at the edge of the the Polar Plaza, where there was a gas station at one point in time.
Talking about there.
Yep.
Different, opposite end.
Opposite end.
Yep,
Oh, the old gas station?
right.
Okay.
So that's coming, probably. And regarding Lilly development,
Are you guys done?
Lilly Development got 2 of the 3 grants that they submitted applications to. And also the Met Council approved their comprehensive plan amendment, so those things are going forward nicely. And their project team is doing regular meeting updates or regular meetings with their architect engineer and WSB on project coordination with Helen Street reconstruction. So an overall project schedule will be forthcoming, so I'm just kind of waiting for that. And Vang, their agreement with this group, I believe, expires at the end of the month. They submitted a pro forma to the city for review. We supplied it to the TIF consultant, and she has requested some additional information from them. So we're kind of still in flux before we really know where we're going to go with that. So I can report back next month on Vang.
Yeah, I think understanding where JB Vang's group is by next month's meeting would be important, because we'll either have to extend that or potentially open those parcels to others that have interest. And I know that there is one party that has strong interest in doing something over there, and then another party that has at least expressed an idea. I wouldn't say it's much more than that at this point. So,
The other thing I have to report on is the grant opportunity for the electric vehicle charging stations. So I sat in on a webinar just before the meeting about that to try to understand what the requirements are. There is a 20% match required, so I don't know if that's something that EDA would participate in or if that would be a city council participation. I was going to discuss that with the city manager. You're required to have at least 2 stations, and a single station, they're willing to award up to $7,500 per station. So kind of investigating how much will it cost, where would we put them? The community center was identified as a potential site, and the parking lot that's kind of over by where the Vangs parcels are is another potential site. So doing some internal investigation with that.
Okay, great.
That's all I have to report.
Okay. Anything else before we go in closed session?
Yeah, Business Association, had our general meeting today. We had the folks from Biz Recycling in to give a little bit more info about recycling grants that are available to businesses in North St. Paul. Businesses that want to, leverage and strengthen up their recycling program, can work with Biz Recycling to get a grant of up to $10,000 to implement recycling measures at their business. So that was pretty interesting to hear from them. Other than that, business association wise, we did update and launched a new website dedicated strictly to the business association. Previously, some of that information had been housed on the city's website. We felt it was better to just kind of migrate to our own standalone website. So that is up and running now. We're going to continue to kind of lists of members and things like that, applications for businesses wishing to join the business association. So lots of good info on that. We'll continue to update that. And then lastly, last month in December, just before Christmas, that we hosted a business association happy hour at the North St. Paul American Legion, in which we solicited donations for the North St. Paul food shelf, and we were able to get pretty good donations as far as delivering some actual physical food to them, as well as monetary donations, where we were able to donate $1,100 to the food shelf as a result of that.
Awesome.
Which was pretty good, because the food shelf can make a sum of money like that go pretty far. So that was pretty good.
Good. Thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Just in case anybody is reviewing this or watching it online, would that website you'd like to direct them to be northstpaulbusiness.com?
That would be it, yes. I was blanking on the actual address.
You said .com.org?
No.
Yes, thank you. That northstpaulbusiness.com is that new website. We're still going to get some link on there where members can pay their dues or join and things like that right from the website. In the past, we had been mailing out membership due invoices and things like that, so we're working to kind of get a little bit more with times and allow people to get their money.
Perfect. All right, thank you. So the next item will be going into closed session. So I got to read this. The meeting will be closed as permitted by Section 13D.05 Subdivision 3C to develop or consider offers relating to the possible purchase of land located at 2564 7th Avenue and 2535 Division Street North. With that, we'll go into closed session. If folks in the AV room can let me know when we're off air. Looks like